New selection box is coming out, or it might be out by the time this video comes out. And basically, selection boxes are limited time releases of cards you will not see again until much later, maybe 6 months. So we're gonna find out, are these cards good or not?
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Starting with STRATOS. STRATOS is a big card people are hyped for. In the TCG, this card was a big deal and used to be banned due to being so good. It is a not once per turn effect. Its effect is on summon, special, or normal. Destroy your opponent's back row. It does not target, but it only destroys back row per other hero you control. So on summon by itself does not destroy back row, but if you summon it by itself, you could use its second effect, which is add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. Now, when I played with STRATOS, it was either limited to one or it was banned, so I could not play it. I never had the ability to search itself. So on summon, you could search itself. And the synergy we're going to talk about is Super Team Buddy Force Unite. Summon another STRATOS from the hand or the graveyard, trigger its effect, destroy back row if you control another hero, which you will if you're using Super Team Buddy Force Unite, and also search another hero. So a great way to get special summoning, powerful rebirth, special summon from the grave, get the multiple STRATOS effects, summon multiple in a turn, destroy multiple back row cards. Summon a STRATOS in their end phase with one other hero, destroy one back row. Summon another STRATOS, then you get to destroy 2 more back row, 3 total back row destroyed. Also, we have synergy with Solid Soldier. On summon, special summon a STRATOS from the hand. STRATOS could search for Vian. Vian is a limited 1 card because it's very powerful. Good job, now you got Vian. Now, Diane is pretty good because if you use Mass Change on your Solid Soldier, which you would be playing with your STRATOS, presumably, when you destroy a monster by battle, the Diane will activate to special summon a STRATOS from the deck to pop back row or search. Mass Change on your STRATOS will summon Masked Hero Blast, a Jaden Ubel level 45 reward. What this card does, it's 2200, so it's very weak, but on special summon, you could target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half of its current attack. That's great, and it's permanent. So a permanent reduction. Also, during either player's turn, you could pay 500 life, and you could target a back row card, return it back to the hand. Very nice. And here's a quick combo. We're going to normal summon Soldier, special summon STRATOS. STRATOS will destroy a back row or search any hero. We don't even need it for this combo. Polymerization, we have that. We're going to use both monsters, the STRATOS and the Soldier, with Polymerization to summon an Adoration, for example. Adoration, do not worry about its effect. We'll talk about it later. It's 2800 attack. Now, we could also summon a Great Tornado. The problem is Great Tornado would make this play miss the timing. So instead, we're going to summon an Adoration. Now, by summoning Adoration, it will trigger Soldier to resummon STRATOS from the grave onto the field. Then STRATOS, for a second time, will destroy more back row or search another hero. Now, why does the Great Tornado make it miss the timing? Because Great Tornado will activate on summon, and then Soldier will be Chainlink 2. Chainlink 2 would summon STRATOS. Then the last thing to happen would be Great Tornado resolving, which would make the STRATOS miss its timing. So be careful with that. And here are some decklist ideas. Decklist idea number 1, you could play it with Neos Fusion. Or decklist idea number 2, you could play it with the Blazeman and a bunch of powerful rebirths and a bunch of Super Team Buddy Force Unites. Now, in my early testing, we tested this, did some test hands. Turn 1 plays are not so good. There's no good fusion to start with on the field. We need a great poly fusion to have a good turn 1 play. If we don't have a good fusion monster, this deck is going to struggle. But Shiranui also doesn't have a good turn 1 play, and they're a top tier deck. So probably these deck ideas, we're going to have to fill it to the brim with lots of back row heavy cards to ensure we have a good turn 1 play of just setting good back row. Maybe just build it like Shiranui and it might be good. Or you could be a mad lad like Zuckram and build it as a 1-turn kill variant. I will be testing out the many different ways. We'll try to OTK with it. We'll try to build it balanced, lots of back row. But in the end, through the tournaments and events, we're going to find the best way to play this deck no matter what. Look out for STRATOS. Now we have Vision Hero Adoration, a new card in the selection box. It requires just 2 heroes for fusion. It's 2800 attack. To activate its effect, it's not so easy. By itself on the field, it doesn't really do anything. You have to have another hero alongside it to target your other hero and a card your opponent controls to reduce their attack by the attack of your other hero you control. And it's also not a during either player's turn effect. It's a once per turn during your main phase. Not that easy to perform, but it's very easy to summon. We can use it with, we could summon it with Polymerization, easy search with Blazeman and your Vian. Also, if you use Polymerization with the Soldier's effect, summoning another hero from the graveyard, will be very powerful as it can meet the other hero on the field requirement just to activate its reduction effect. So that's definitely something you want to consider with your Adoration. Barkion, level 6 Synchro, 2500 attack. If you want to know what this card does, it's basically a Jinzo, a Synchro Jinzo. Jinzo, we don't really have a good way to search it. So instead, if we have a good way to summon Barkion, that might be a great way to deal with all the back row cards. But it requires an Earth Tuner and an Earth Non-Tuner. Trap activation, negate it. But by negating it, you're going to banish 2 cards from your graveyard. So immediately, whatever you use to synchro into Barkion, you could banish those 2 cards. But if you want to negate any more traps after that, it might be difficult to do so to get that much more cards in your graveyard to get negating. Now, it cannot negate counter trap cards. Relevant counter traps are Blackbird Close from Black Wings. It can't negate it. Parshaft, you can't negate it. Now, what's the relevance of negating traps? Let's look at the top tier decks. Elman Saber, Shiranui, Cyber Dragon, Dark Magician, and Ritual Beast. We can negate regular back row against Elman Saber and Shiranui. We can negate Overflow from Cyber Dragons, which destroys cards on the field. That's a big card to negate. We can negate Navigation, which is a core card of Dark Magician to summon the Dark Magician onto the field. And we also can negate Ambush, which is a core card of Ritual Beast to flood the field of Ritual Beast. So maybe against those decks, you want to summon your Barkion. Now, what are the best ways to summon your Barkion? We can immediately turn 1 or turn 2, just normal summon a Cage Musha, special summon a Keyzon, now you have a Barkion. You could normal summon Wielder or Tracker, then special summon the other to make Barkion. What about a 1-card synchro? We got a 1-card synchro. Angel Trumpeteer with a Dark Verger in the graveyard through the effect, the skill, I should say, of what grows in the graveyard. You normal summon Trumpeteer, it special summons Verger. There you go. Synchro immediately in a Barkion. Or we could float into the synchro by playing X-Sabers, for an example. We also have yugioh Guardian. Another level 6 synchro. It does require an Earth Tuner like Barkion, but it doesn't require an Earth Non-Tuner. So all the ways to summon Barkion are going to be the same way to summon your yugioh Guardian. So if you build a deck to summon Barkion, you're also going to want to summon yugioh Guardian with it in your extra deck. Yugioh Guardian is, I think, the biggest level 6 synchro at 2800 attack, and it steals your opponent's monster. You attack over an opponent's monster, you destroy it by battle, you special summon it onto your side of the field in face-up defense. This card was so good back in the day, they had to nerf it. They nerfed the physical card. It used to require any tuner, and now they made it Earth. So that is a very good card to have if you want to summon it through these ways. Now, if you choose to build a deck around yugioh Guardian and Natura Barkion with any of these cards, for example, you could also play Brionic alongside it, a card we already have. This is a very powerful synchro. Discard any amount of cards to return an equal amount of cards your opponent controls back to the hand. So this will definitely be a great card to supplement your monster stealing at 2000 attack and also your trap negation with Barkion. So a funny little play that someone mentioned in the chat, if you use Tracker for the synchro of your yugioh Guardian, which would boost it by plus 600, making it 3400 attack, you can attack over a Cocytus if they don't invoke or butt boost from the hand, steal their Cocytus, and then attack that turn with it as it's summoned in defense, and can attack while in defense. Nuts. Oh my lord. Fiendish Chain is here. This was one of my favorite back row cards back in the day in the TCG. Love this back row card. What it does is it's a continuous trap. It negates any face-up monster, and it also makes it so that monster cannot attack forever as long as this is face-up on the field. It's similar to Floodgate and Wall D as it can clog your opponent's field. So maybe that's going to add to a deck that's going to play a bunch of Floodgate, Wall D, and now Fiendish Chain, lock up your field, deck you out. That might be a thing. But the non-degenerate way to use it is going to be, let's look at which other back row cards it's competing with or the impact versus top tier decks. Top cards it competes with right now, the most used back row cards are Floodgate, Canadia, Treacherous, and Enemy Controller. These are great back row cards, and now you could add Fiendish Chain to the list. Now, what's the impact versus top tier decks? Against Dark Lords, it could stop a Dark Lord from recycling their cards. It could stop the Dark Lord from negating you. So if they try to negate you by returning their Sanctified Dark Lord from the grave back to the deck, negate them. They're going to have multiple Dark Lords on the field to play around it. Now, without the Fiendish Chain, you could Canadia or Floodgate or Treacherous their monsters, which would also pretty much accomplish the same thing the Fiendish Chain is doing here. Now, Black Wings, the best thing you could pretty much negate here is going to be a Raikiri. Raikiri destroys multiple cards in the field. Fiendish, chain it, and it also cannot attack. You're protected from an attack, protected from its effect. Love it. Elman Saber. If they are confidently going to summon Invoker to get searching, negate it. If they have Mole Hue, which they are using so annoyingly every single turn, they're going to flip your cards face down. Fiendish Chain it in response to its effect. No more flipping. Hold it in place. It also gets pretty big as he continues to send Element Sabers from the deck to the graveyard with the field spell. I think it's pretty good against this. Now, Shiranui, if you're going to use it against Solitaire, Solitaire could still tribute itself and it won't be negated by the Fiendish Chain. But you can negate the Squire, which on summon summons a tuner from the deck. That's a great negate. Or you can negate the Sun Saga, which is attempting to destroy multiple cards in the field. Now, where this card has a huge impact is against Cyber Dragon and Magician's Rod Dark Magician deck. Cyber Dragon Core on summon searches a main Cyber Dragon card. I used to not care. If I am playing Dark Magician or Cyber Dragon, I don't care if their back row is Floodgate, Canadia, Treacherous, or Enemy Controller. When I'm summoning my Core or Magician's Rod, it's not going to disrupt me. Now, it's going to disrupt you. Now, if there's back row, you have to fear the Fiendish Chain. It's going to lock it up. It's going to negate it. You're not going to search your Overflow to destroy multiple cards. You're not going to search for your core card like Circle or your Navigation or your Illusion Magic. That's going to be a problem. Now, you can chain Illusion Magic to Rod being activated to dodge the Fiendish Chain. That's a big, big deal. And Ritual Beast, the best thing to negate with the Fiendish Chain is going to be Canahawk and the Pedalfin. Now, Cosmic Cyclone negates Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain attempting to negate your monster effect. You chain Cosmic Cyclone to Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is useless. Right now, people are using Cosmic Cyclone preemptively. They're just going to Cosmic Cyclone right away on a face-down card. Now, if there's multiple back row cards and I need my Rod's effect to activate, people are going to wait with their Cosmic Cyclone. So this is a card that's going to change the way people play Cosmic Cyclone, change the way people view back row cards. Heavily disrupts any deck that requires a monster effect for setup. We used to only fear Dark Lords and even a little bit Black Wings for monster effect negation. Now everyone is going to easily be able to negate your monster effects, and you're going to have to figure out a way to play around it. So great, great card. Can't wait for Fiendish Chain. Black Illusion. Until the end of this turn, all Dark Spellcaster monsters with 2,000 or more attack, which is Dark Magician, they cannot be destroyed by battle. Their effects are not negated. They have no effects anyway. Also, they are completely unaffected by your opponent's cards. This card is incredible for protecting your Dark Magicians, but it doesn't help you combo. It's not searchable. It can easily be a very dead card, so maybe you could play just one and just blow out your opponent. Their back row, you're really not going to care about it. You already have Navigation to negate their back row, but now with this, your monsters can't be destroyed by battle, completely unaffected, complete protection from destruction and all other card effects. Maybe play one for the YOLO. Maybe. Phosphorage, the Elemental Lord. You have a lot of Elemental Lords. We're only missing the Water Elemental Lord now. And basically, all the Elemental Lords, they want to have 5 of a certain attribute in the graveyard in order to summon it from the hand. This one requires 5 light monsters in the graveyard. No less, no more. You have to have 5 to summon this. And all of them on summon are supposed to have a godlike effect. And the godlike effect, the lord-like effect of the light elemental lord is on summon. Destroy all of your opponent's monsters. Face down, face up, destroy them all. Now, if we compare this effect to the other elemental lords, elemental lord Windrose destroys back row. And Pyrorex would destroy only 1 monster plus deal damage. So I think I would replace the Pyrorex with this, and dealing with monsters is very nice. So maybe I'd build a full deck around this, play 3. How do we summon this easily? Very easily by playing an Element Saber deck. Element Sabers, while in the graveyard, you could change their attribute to any attribute just for that turn. So as long as you have 5 or more Element Sabers in the grave, you could turn just 5 of them into light. You'll be able to summon it. Also, you could search it. With Makani, you could search Makani with the field spell for Element Sabers, and then Makani can very easily just search for your Element Saber, I should say Elemental Lord, once you have enough Element Sabers in the graveyard. So it's not that difficult to summon it, and you also get to search it. Watch out for me playing a Phosphoridge the Elemental Lord deck, and that is the selection box. It's worth noting, the selection boxes, you have to spend money on them to go through them all. They only let you buy a little bit of them with gems. The rest you have to spend money. Dkayed, why should I spend my money on this? I'm not going to tell you that you should spend your money on this. These cards will be reprinted. It might take 4 to 6 months to see these cards again to be obtainable through gems. And so far, I think the chat has agreed with me that all the older selection boxes have not had a huge impact on the meta. Time will tell with this. We have many events, I have many videos, I have many testing to do with these cards. So just wait, when this comes out, we'll see if it's good in tournaments, we'll see if it's good, if I could build some good deck lists with it. Then you could decide if you want to spend your money on a selection box, but it is a limited time sale. It's gonna be up for a little bit, maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and then it goes away, that's it. You gotta wait for it to be reprinted afterward. Love it!